Rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
There's a swirling storm of speculation about Shawn Diddy Combs that seems ready to shake the foundations of Hollywood. He's been an icon in music, fashion, and pop culture for decades. But lately, the headlines are pointing to something far more sinister than chart-topping hits and glamorous parties. People are whispering about FBI raids, secret lists implicating major celebrities, and a trial that threatens to expose the shadows behind all that star power. It all started like a rumor that wouldn't go away. Joe Rogan, known for candid conversations that push boundaries, suggested Diddy's case might rival Jeffrey Epstein's in terms of sheer shock value.
The thing is, like, we're getting the rumors from the internet, and
Right.
the internet thinks that the Taliban took out that bridge in Baltimore. So
The internet lit up overnight with fans, critics, and conspiracy theorists scrambling to connect the dots. Rogan hinted that Diddy could be holding on to information about Hollywood's secret underbelly, information that might protect him if he chose to name names. Could there really be a list of Hollywood elites entangled in illegal activities, just waiting to be exposed? Or is it just another sensational story that'll vanish as quickly as it started? On paper, it sounds outrageous, but the FBI's sudden interest in Diddy's properties tells a different story. Authorities raided his homes in Los Angeles and Miami, looking for evidence that allegedly points to more than just personal misconduct. Some suggest that the real prize isn't Diddy himself, but the vault of intel he may have collected over the years. The idea that he could have documents, recordings, or personal messages tying powerful figures to criminal behavior is enough to keep everyone on edge. Still, to understand how it all escalated, you have to look at the people who helped shape Diddy's career in the first place, starting with Clive Davis. Davis is a legendary figure in the music world, credited with discovering countless talents and molding entire genres. He was pivotal in launching Diddy's career, helping build Bad Boy Records into a juggernaut. Yet industry insiders like Jaguar Wright claim that Davis's influence on Diddy may have included darker lessons, encouraging more than just savvy business strategies. Whether that's true or not remains unconfirmed, but the idea that Diddy's highest mentor might have nudged him down a questionable path is too juicy for the rumor mill to ignore. Meanwhile, Jermaine Dupri has been one of Diddy's loudest defenders, even as the allegations pile up. Dupri insists the raids and charges are blown out of proportion, arguing that high rollers always face outsized legal troubles. But his support hasn't won him many fans lately. Critics question why he's so devoted to defending Diddy in the face of such potentially damning accusations. There are also longtime friends like Dr. Dre who are taking a completely different approach: total silence. Dre's reluctance to comment has turned heads, especially since he and Diddy shared monumental moments, from business deals to cultural milestones. Some speculate Dre's calculated distance might be an attempt to avoid getting pulled into the fray if Diddy decides to implicate others. And then there's Russell Simmons, a one-time mentor to Diddy who's dealing with his own controversies. Simmons moved to Bali, which notably lacks an extradition treaty with the United States, after facing his own legal battles. Even from abroad, he's defended Diddy, warning the public not to condemn him without all the facts. Skeptics say Simmons' support is motivated by self-preservation. After all, if Diddy starts naming powerful figures, you can bet Simmons' name might come up. Now let's talk about those infamous parties, particularly Diddy's white parties and exclusive gatherings, often rumored to include freak-offs. Over the years, these events were portrayed as the height of luxury. A-listers dressed in all white, sipping champagne, dancing to the hottest tracks. But whispers suggest something far more sinister behind the scenes. Former insiders and alleged survivors like Allison Carter and Jaguar Wright have described a harrowing environment of manipulation and coercion. There are even tales of occult practices, though these stories live mostly on the fringes of the internet, largely unverified by any mainstream source. The real question is whether these gatherings were simply extravagant celebrations or staged events built to lure in celebrities and future blackmail material. Some go as far as claiming there's footage or photos that Diddy could use as leverage. With Hollywood's history of sweeping scandal under the rug, it's not hard to see why these claims gain traction. So many people at the top have too much to lose. Oddly, this story doesn't stop with Hollywood's usual suspects. Allegations have swept in high-profile political figures like Barack Obama and Kamala Harris, fueled by a barrage of deepfake images and AI-generated videos that ricochet around social media. Some of these clips are blatantly doctored, showing Obama or Harris engaged in bizarre, ritual-like activities. Others simply show them in the same frame as Diddy, which, taken out of context, can quickly spiral into wild conspiracy theories. Donald Trump and his allies have seized on these controversies, sharing doctored images to sway voters or damage reputations. This tactic isn't new. Political foes often release half-truths and manipulated media to achieve their aims. What's different now is the sophistication of AI, which makes it tougher than ever to separate fact from fiction. One day, you see a screenshot of Kamala Harris supposedly rubbing shoulders with Diddy at a secret party. The next, you find out the image was cobbled together from unrelated photos. The confusion only grows, and in the meantime, the rumor machine keeps churning. But let's pivot back to the core of the issue, the upcoming trial set for May 5th, 2025. Prosecutors allege that Diddy orchestrated a hidden network exploiting vulnerable women, fueled by his wealth and influence. The indictment suggests a pattern of misconduct reaching back years, with silent accomplices helping him maintain his public image as a charismatic industry titan. If these charges hold up in court, Diddy could face life behind bars. That alone is enough to make anyone wonder what secrets he might spill to avoid the harshest penalties. The setting for Diddy's pretrial incarceration is far from glamorous. He's reportedly being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, infamous for its tough conditions. Gone are the designer outfits and catered meals. Instead, he's stuck with cramped quarters, mediocre food, and the looming threat of a future that might never see him walking free again. It's a stunning downfall for a man who once navigated the entertainment world with unflappable swagger. The ripples from this case could travel far beyond Diddy's personal saga. Hollywood has a long history of protecting its most profitable stars, but if he starts naming others, like directors, producers, even fellow artists, everything could change. More arrests, more trials, and a lot more public soul searching about the culture of power and exploitation in entertainment. Big names might try to distance themselves from him, quietly erasing collaboration or endorsements. People who once championed him could suddenly find themselves in a legal hot seat if investigators link them to the alleged wrongdoing. Yet there's also the chance the system will manage to bury the story before it unravels further. We've seen it happen before with scandals that seemed insurmountable but faded from public memory when bigger headlines emerged. Skeptics predict that with enough legal maneuvering and hush-hush deals, the full truth might never see daylight. Others believe too many people have a vested interest in making sure Diddy's potential revelations don't get a proper platform. In the end, it's a waiting game. The trial date is locked in, and both sides, federal prosecutors and Diddy's legal team, are preparing for an all-out battle. The prosecution hints at surveillance footage, text messages, and eyewitness accounts that could paint a devastating picture of exploitation. Diddy's defenders argue the government overstepped, leaking information that biased the public against him from the start. With so much at stake, the truth may be the first casualty in a high-profile case where everyone has an agenda. Still, what if Joe Rogan was right? What if this drama, already so intense, really does have deeper layers that could topple more than just a single celebrity brand? If Diddy decides that naming names is his best shot at avoiding a life sentence, we might soon see Hollywood institutions on the brink of collapse. Whether this is a frantic rumor, a tabloid frenzy, or a looming reality remains to be seen. But either way, the question lingers. Is this the final chapter of Diddy's decades-long reign, or the beginning of a revelation that forces Hollywood to face its darkest truths? For now, the story is still unfolding. The calls for accountability grow louder every day, fueled by survivors, social media sleuths, and even some brave insiders. And as the world watches, one thing becomes clear. When towering stars fall, they sometimes bring entire empires down with them. Will that happen here? Only time, and perhaps the contents of Diddy's rumored secret list will tell